You can do it. You can do it, YouTube. Okay. Looks like we are live. Yep, I can see it.
Hooray.
All right. All right, looks like we are live. Welcome everyone to the long-awaited episode of Sonic Lore with Radar, episode 10. And of course, this one is going to be about the TailsTube lore. If you have been following the official Sonic social media channels, they have posted TailsTube, at like 14 episodes of like quote unquote lore or just like, interesting celebrations, because they did Happy New Year. They did like Christmas, they even had a Halloween one. So but yeah, if you have any questions from any of the episodes that have aired for TailsTube, Radar is here to answer them.
This is great because I totally didn't and I totally did advertise this episode that it was happening totally. Um but yeah, we're back at it and we're here to talk about a thing that Tails decided to start back in 2022. It was completely out of the ordinary, but we would basically be getting this very cool series from the Sonic social media team, consisting of the VTuber models that were shown off during the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog back in 2021. Um, I believe that was when they Whoops, there goes my microphone. I'm pretty sure that's when they debuted. But yeah, we saw Sonic for the first time over on the Japan side. And we'd see Tails, Amy, and Knuckles as well. And lo and behold, we now have something over here for the English fans, which is in the form of TailsTube. Tails' very own streaming channel where he can do anything he wants. He can share news, at-home airplane repair tips, or just chill.
hmm Yeah, and if you guys have any questions regarding any specific lore that Tales has discussed in any of the Tales Tube episodes that have aired, you can put them in the chat here. So that way Radar can clarify or specify any of the specific lore that Tales has like discussed on their web series. Ooh, okay. I think my very first question that I have, Radar, the Halloween one, right? The scary, wait, what was Scary Story Spooktacular episode of Tales Tube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm presuming, can you clarify or specify about the story Tales was telling? Because is that supposed to be like an origin story of King Boom Boo?
So this is actually a very funny thing because back in 2024 I had the pleasure of running into Tyson Hess in public, and I was able to ask him a few things about TailsTube before he had passed on the role of taking over for TailsTube over to, I believe, Evan Stanley's in charge of it now.
Mm.
But when I talked to Tyson, I had asked him about what was up with episode 9 and, about the story of the king and his knights in the pyramid. And from what Tyson told me is that something of the like is that let's just say Tales' story is fiction. Tales' story
Mm.
is fiction, just like the other stories are. Um, Tyson was very much being vague with it. So whether it is King Boom Boo's origin story or it isn't, I think it's just to say it's totally up to you if you want to consider it such. It's like,
Mm.
well, it's just Tails' scary story. What more could it possibly be?
Ah,
Look, a
interesting.
reminder, these are the same people who work alongside Ian Flynn, hashtag knowing smile.
Mm. I mean, yeah, like it because it seems pretty believable, even though it is like Tales is like scary story to like scare the others, obviously. But because I was like thinking to myself when I first saw the that episode specifically, I was just like, this is interesting. Are they like telling like an origin story about King Boom Boom? But I really love how it's just more of like it's up to like the fans' interpretation. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we're just gonna lay out like the scary story, right? Tails tells the story in that specific TailsTube episode, and it's like, okay. So it's just pretty much just from what Tyson told you, Radar. It's more just like how fans interpret it then.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Because I was just very curious about that.
Most
If
people are. A lot of people just don't expect a Halloween episode to just drop supposed lore, but at the same time, it's TailsTube, so it's like,
hmm Oh wait. I'm just like looking through the earlier episodes just to like remind myself. I was like, wait, what was like discussed in the Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. This one, I think there was like this interesting question in TailsTube number 4, featuring Amy. And apparently there's like, I guess this it says quote unquote Knuckles as this question of if there are like two Sonics, could there be multiple Sonics? Like, what's your interpretation of that? Of the way that like Amy was like answering that question from your perspective, Radar.
Sonic the Hedgehog Sat AM, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Archie Sonic the Hedgehog, Paramount Sonic the Hedgehog, Fleetway Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Schoolhouse Sonic the Hedgehog. There are a infinite number of Sonics, and any Sonic is bound to be your favorite.
Mm,
That's just the affirmation of the fact that the multiverse exists and that all the other Sonics still live in their own worlds and their own times and everything and have their own adventures. And while we are mainly focusing on Sonic from the games, it's all just fun when you look back at Sonic's history. Nothing
hmm
more, nothing less.
I mean, I think, yeah, like that I can see now. It's like when you think about all the other like different medias that's been in the Sonic franchise. Wink wink, happy 35th anniversary to the franchise this year. But yeah, like there's always a Sonic, there's always a iteration of Sonic that people will love because we do have classic fans, who love the classic Sonic games. Then you have the modern Sonic fans. We have like the 90s cartoons fans, you know. We have like the Sonic X fans and Sonic Boom. So I mean it's like it is I really love how they lean into that too.
Hmm.
If anything. Um Oh, well, wait a minute. I really need to know, Radar. I really want to know, how did it feel to finally see Professor Tori in an episode of Tales Tube?
All of that buildup led up to that, and well, it was certainly interesting. I'm not going to say I wasn't I'm not going to say I was disappointed, but I am also saying that I was expecting a little bit more. Like I know it was like, oh, funny, haha, or about ruins the episode and stuff. It's just like, I'm at least glad that the introduction of Victoria is something that does lead into other projects that does involve her, especially that of Chaotix case files. But it's like yes, I'm happy that she showed up. And I am also happy. Excuse me. And I'm also happy that we're seeing we're seeing her like show like especially like all the all the little hints that that they were throwing towards the hardcore community. So the first Tails tube, the note in Gerald's journal from Shadow Generations, everything with Sonic 3 and her um excuse me, everything with Sonic 3 and her little cameo there in Tokyo. It's like it's very interesting that they went this far as to even put her in the movies.
Hmm.
Like not many people will just know. It's like, oh, just a supposed like graphic for like a fictional anime or whatever in the thing. But it's like, oh no, hardcore fans will let you know that look where it is. Look who it is. It's yeah, it's the professor. So yeah. Um I'm I don't really know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say, to be honest.
Yeah, because wasn't it? I think you mentioned it before, Radar, that they hinted at her in Sonic Movie 3. Is that right?
Yes, in the movies. She is very much seen in the she's mostly seen as soon as Shadow shows up at Tokyo to fight Team Sonic.
Mm. Yeah, because like I kind of like how they are like bringing her forward little by little because I think she was originally supposed to appear in Unleashed, right? Because you said it was like I think concept art.
No, she was simply put alongside the other Unleashed characters. Um, and I can confirm that she was not part of Unleashed originally. She was designed by Evan Stanley.
Mm,
And Evan didn't join the team until, well, once IDW started to ramp up and she became head writer. Um,
mm,
so, yeah, no, she was just simply put in with the other um Unleash. Excuse me, sorry. I have not been getting enough sleep lately. She was put alongside the other Unleashed characters simply because Sega thought, oh, blink and you'll miss her.
hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I think it's just like a very intriguing like character because um Be because if I remember, do you remember what was specifically? Because I know she works for Gun, but do you remember what specifically that Professor Tori works as?
She's an acquisition specialist, which is definitely telling, considering it's very telling that she is an acquisition specialist, specifically because of, she was required by Gunn to retrieve Gerald's journal for Commander Tower, as seen in
Hmm.
Shadow Generations, um and her involvement in Chaotix case files with her trying to acquire information about the stolen astroscopic lenses. It makes sense that this is her profession. But despite the fact that she does work for Gunn, I'm also of the understanding that she is also legit in her work as an archaeologist. Like,
Mm.
you could just assume that her work at Spagonia University is a front, but no, she actually does seem very um she does seem very passionate about the work she puts in understanding all the great civilizations that once lived on Earth, um, as well as the current generation. But
Mm-hmm.
she has you could say she has, there's more layers behind her than we realize, and we're going to figure out more and more the more she shows up. So I
Mm-hmm.
do not doubt that will like this isn't like all we're going to see from Professor Victoria. Like we're like there's going to be more about her relationship with other Sonic characters. Like, we've only seen Tails and the Chaotix and Commander Tower thus far. There's still a whole lot. Um, and I know some people are hoping to see her relationship and opinions on Eggman, considering I know that there's theories roaming around the internet about who she really is, but I'm not really buying it until some future media involving her. Not to say I'm not
Mm-hmm.
believing the theories, it's just that it seems a little
Mm.
far-fetched. If you know, you know, chat.
Yeah, like so basically Professor Tori is pretty much she works for both Gun and the university. You know, she's kind of doing two things at the same time, I'm presuming. As
Essentially.
that's very amazing that she's able to balance both of that. Um,
I agree.
because I'm kind of like, if she's like a specialist for gun, it's like, I was like, then how does she ever have time to do her work at the university? Um, but then again, we can't really question this logic because it's Sonic. We don't question if someone
Yeah.
has like two jobs and how do you balance it or anything.
It's just you know you know.
Hmm. But I find it very intriguing that I think in that specific episode with Professor Tori, she for some reason doesn't believe tales of the events of like Unleashed when when the world broke apart. So it's like, how come she did not believe tales about that? It's like I get it if she did not witness it, but I'm like
She
if
didn't believe tales that the Gaia temples came together to be constructed as the Gaia Colossus by Light Gaia.
okay.
I really hate that misconception, because it if anything it highlights a greater weakness in the Sonic fandom in my opinion. But no,
Mm,
it's the fact that she especially with the way that Orbot would kept interrupting Tails, and Tails also agreeing with Orbot to an extent, it kind of didn't really help
mm.
his case.
I mean that's
It's the
fair.
fact that um, and Tails had the footage, and despite the fact that Warbot was, in the way, like, yeah, no, everyone knows about the planet being broke apart. That is not something that people will forget about or miss.
Yeah.
It's the Gaia temples being called upon by Chip is the hard part
Mm.
that she doesn't
Ah.
find um she doesn't find that as truthful.
Mm.
But and she understands that she understands that Tails goes on adventures with Sonic to great lengths around the world and beyond. It's just,
Hmm.
it's just the facts that need more
Mm.
understanding of it.
So
And
it's
even then, like, it's not out of like any malicious intent either that she doesn't believe Tails. Like, going off of Chaotix case files too, they still get along pretty well with each other.
hmm
It's like, yeah, she's especially when it comes to the fact that, yeah, one of two of Tails's big adventures he had involved two of the great civilizations that she's researching her entire career on. So, some part as to just some part as to why she
Mm.
has a hard time believing such.
Mm. Ah, okay. So you could say she's kind of like, I need to see it to believe it type thing. Which is
And she could
fair.
have seen it too, had not Orbot been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because she's kind of like, really? Like Gaia really like summoned all these temples? And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like I need to see it to believe it type thing, because whenever you're doing like research in history, right? Um, because we weren't around at the time of these events, we usually got to take it with like a grain of salt. So maybe she's kind of thinking of it like that way. And like you said, Orbot was not really helping Tails' case because he kept interrupting. Um,
Yeah.
for obvious reason. Um, and everything. But I think it was like a pretty interesting like episode to have her because I think like no one was like expecting it either. Um, for like Professor Tori. Yeah, if you guys have any questions for Radar, regarding any of the stuff that Tails discussed, whether about any of them, because we do have like the holiday ones, we have like the scary story spectacular. We had the New Year one. I think the New Year one was pretty fun. Um I really want to know Radar. I think in the New Year one, people have like pointed this out. I think it's like that you could literally see the silhouettes of like Tangle and Whisper in the background. What was like your reaction to that?
Another blink if you'll miss it, because that is, yeah. And no, it's Big, Cream, and Tango who are there at Amy's party.
Hmm.
Whisper's not present in that.
Ah, okay.
Um, but it's going off of, episode one of TailsTube as well, where they snuck her appearance in as, a questioner to Tails, and now here she is as a silhouette. It's like, you know, it's it's all the little like references to IDW that they are able to put in um for greater synergy in the brand and such. Um the silhouette again isn't, blink and you'll miss it. So it's like I didn't catch it at first. I was mainly focused on the story that was happening in um the Tales episode, as well as the fact that that was the first time we had seen Amy's apartment in Central City since Sonic Battle. Because, not a lot of people will remember that Amy has her own apartment in the city. I mean,
Hmm.
unless you go off of Station Square, but that got flooded. So that's the reason why she moved in Sonic Battle. But it was still very cool to see that. I know I asked Tyson Hess about it a little bit. Um, I believe Gadget, one of the avatars, also does show up in the silhouettes as well. So that's a fun little thing too. Um, and yeah, again, it's nice to see like the little cameos here and there of Tangle at the time, anyways. Nowadays,
Oh. Oh. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot they had a TailsTube episode about like fortune telling with like Amy. I totally forgot this was like an episode. Um
episode 8. I'm gonna be honest. Episode 8 is definitely like my least favorite out of the bunch, just because it really is just advertising for the fortune card deck that came out at the time, which I don't really feel like it needed to do so. Like, I get why. I just feel like it didn't really need to do so, especially since, like, it could have, like, I feel like Amy could have saved, like, they could have involved Amy doing the fortune cards, like, during the Halloween episode instead. Just
Mm.
because I feel like it could have been like a fun reference because like, oh, Amy um Amy drawing the fortunes of her friends around a campfire at night. Ooh, I wonder when she's done that before. You know, like
Mm.
it could have
Yeah.
been a funny thing, and it could have led to like the little mishaps along the way, like Shadow scaring them, Sonic scaring them during their stories. Like it could have been like, oh, Amy's fortunes to everyone leads up to the hedgehog scaring them. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I don't like how episode 8 also retreads literally what happens in episode 6, where Eggman crashes into Tails' lab in the
Ah.
exact same way that he did during the Christmas party. So it's, yeah. Episode 8 is definitely my least favorite out of the bunch. Like, I don't want to say that I have a least favorite, because I feel like they're all serviceable, and I definitely do have my favorites in terms of like the ones that fit in with the rest of um the Sonic uh with the rest of the Sonic world building. But yeah, episode 8, not really much of a fan as I'd like to be. I don't I can just admit it. So I'm just not much of a fan.
I mean, that's fair. That's understandable. Like, is it like safely accurate to say that like what Amy said that when she does her fortune card like telling or doing her tarot cards, like she basically says they don't give you spoilers on the future. Is it more like the way she reads her cards, it's kind of just giving like, um, is it just kind of just implying, or I'm just very curious how you interpret that, where she's like saying they don't give you
Anyone's
spoilers
able
on
to
the future.
interpret it in a multitude of ways. It's like how Eggman took his last fortune from Amy as a motive for him to keep pursuing his goals, but then
Hmm.
also his goals getting trampled on by Sonic when he showed up to stop him.
Hmm.
It really comes down to it is all up to interpretation. It's not by fact.
Hmm.
It just happens. A lot of things in Sonic's world just tend to happen.
So is it kind of like it's kind of like take it as you interpret it. Like it's kind of like each individual's like interpretation of like what the card can like imply for them or
Like
something.
no, like a lot of things that you can do, to be honest. Amy's fortune cards is definitely different compared to actual tarot cards. So like there's a reason why there's different rules behind it.
Mm. Because I know I have the the deck itself. And I literally had to read like the entire booklet to like fully understand because now you have clarified that like yeah it's kind of like it's up to like the individuals and how they like interpret the reading um because like it could either mean a good thing or a bad thing, that's usually, or it could be like a neutral thing like in the middle. um
It's reading signs, like events,
mhm,
omens. Divinations are simply the fact of answering a question or figuring out a situation. But like not everything is as concrete as it seems on a card,
mhm,
or, can be interpreted in that way on a card. Thankfully, that's the reason why Amy has that little pamphlet there, for people to better understand what happens whenever a card is drawn.
mhm. Yeah, because like I'm kind of like this is I think it's like very interesting on how you like look at like tarot readings or fortune readings, you know, because some people, especially if you're looking for like a specific like goal, right? You're like, oh, and imagine you ask the person who's doing your reading, can you see if I have any success in this? Or like, they want like a positive outcome, right? Usually most people want a positive outcome, in what they're like asking. But because Amy's is kind of more like take it as you will, interpret it as you will, um, you just don't know. And you kind of have to like you kind of have to like interpret it as you can. Um, but I think, at least, when you specified where it's like, I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds about right now.
Hmm.
Because at least it gives me a better perspective of how Amy does her tarot readings. Because I know they showed footage in this episode where Amy, in her classic self actually did the tarot reading that she basically interpreted her reading of like, oh, I'm gonna meet like my hero.
Yeah.
Um, right? Like I think that's how she like interpreted, right? I think that's what was in the lore. Like she actually did a tarot reading, and then she's like, oh, that's where I'm gonna meet Sonic. Um,
It's like, you know, it's, you know, Amy's hero is what she interpreted as from
mhm.
Little Planets. And Sonic came up to save her, and she decided to put two and two together.
Yeah. Because I think I like that her card like was one of like a knight in shining armor where it's like, yeah, I think, I think that's why she interpreted it. Yeah, it's like it's not just like some, quote unquote tale as old as time. Oh, it's like a handsome like prince or something, right? It's like, no, it's just a hero.
Hmm.
Um, it came to save her and it turned out to be Sonic. So um so I think it was just like because it to me I think it just adds a little bit of layer because I think most people didn't really understand, the concept of like tarot reading unless you do it yourself, right? You know, but I think, this really clarified it for me. Hey, I see Fern's stories in the chat. Let's go. Hi, Ferns.
Oh my gosh, is that no way?
Yeah.
Again, I didn't get the chance to advertise this episode because this one was, again, slotted at a weird time in my life. But oh my goodness. Hi, Ferns!
Like Fern's like, I have arrived. Amy
That's
Rose
my
up
bestie
here.
from another bestie who is also my bestie, and yet she is also my bestie.
Fern's like, who is Sonic? Wow, I think
Who
she's
is
trolling.
Sonic? Uh, Blue. What is a Sonic? A hedgehog.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like Ferns is just trolling with this
Eh,
question.
kind of expected it, to be honest. Been a while since we VC talking about episode 8, and all that, the fortune cards. Um, and I guess I'm also to be looking at some now that I have the answers. Yeah. And then also, I guess I'll just like comment really quickly is that my Tails tip up, if some of you have actually paid attention to the past Sonic lore live streams, you may notice that my TailsTube page is a little bit after I just list off. So like let's go look at one of the episodes, for example. I am going to go to one of my favorite episodes, Bonus Lap. Um had taken the location off everything that is seen in Tails' Miles Electric Mega footage. That's why I added this graphic here episodes. So like, that footage that he just had there, that was obviously footage from Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Um and obviously I have it under the software that he's using um in the TailsTube streams. So yeah, so anything that is featured, so like arc, so obviously I have all it is episodes 1 through 4, while 2.0 has been used names. So like I'm not just codes from that episode and whatnot. It's like no, even if it's just once. So a lot of the listings I have here are from they're from either like small pictures that are seen, like portraits of the characters actually doing original stuff. So, like, say a bunch of the ones where Tails is dancing in the Tails tubes, or that Tangle has taken, has been Station Square, where Sonic usually is, Angel Island, where Knuckles usually is. Some other places the characters have been, like Amy, um, Shadow having been her hotel suite, has been to, as well as um, which, well, by the way, I will also say shout out to the very awesome Yasmin Omar Atta. Again, I'm hopefully taking up the helm as making all of the new VTuber models for all the characters that have shown up. So, and then also a quick shout out to GG Tree, um, also a fellow Sonic comic artist, just like, which was the Life Hacks episode as you saw in those pictures as well. For too much. Gonna bait me somehow further on it. Okay. Okay. This is technically $1 million question because, there are a lot of games, but style of these kind of sad to say because there are some really one reason or another. Sonic Chronicles, The Dark Brotherhood, um, unfortunately, because of not only can't Sonic Chronicles get a sequel that it was originally intending to have, but the game just can't be considered alongside the rest of and was off of Sonic Battle and the Knuckles clan. But it's very hard to figure it out because there's all of the spin-offs, there's all the cancels to sort through, right? And some of them just, make the cut. Patrol car cannon, obviously. For all I know, that one, but one thing, like a lot of the, there, a lot of the media, right? If I had to say, like, this is just coming to my mind right now because I can't really think of anything. Or, sorry, that's Minecraft. Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure is one of the is like the least offending Sonic game that legal disputes about it. I think that's just because of it's more about the game's rights than like because other than that, I would possibly see about because like yeah, it's like other than that, Ball Party, I feel like would probably be like a small like little adventure that happens in between like games and stuff. Apparently like Pinball Party and it really it's just that they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So it's like it doesn't really offend anything else. Like there's very few little games because otherwise I'd want because like it's like my that's just me being realistic with my answer. Like I want them to bring back Sonic Extreme and make it a classic Sonic game. Genuinely, like favorite video game industry stories. And I always love looking back at this one document. It's re how things led up to things, everything with Chris Sen and his team. So like shout out to stuff we play. One, it's so good. Like big summer memories from that. So like there's my realistic answer. There's that isn't a game from some moments. Um, um it's also it's part of the Shogakukan series of comic books, which so that's where that originates, which is its own thing, but it like very much takes after like Unleashed in like the way the story is going. And it I just genuinely think that it also like it's original because the manga that came out before it, right? Jet Black Hedgehog, which was it's a retelling of Shadow Generations, which came out during its release. Um, again, it's a retelling of Shadow Generations by the mangaka Yuki Imada. And compared to that, Sonic and the Blade of Courage is an original story. And like there's nothing wrong with considering it canon because there's nothing contradicting it so far. Um like I would want all medias of Sonic to be canon in some shape, same way, shape, or form. It's why like not only do I consider the IDW comics just as canon as their official confirmation from Sonic's social media team, but also the Sonic Picks by Sonic Official Japan and Yuri Karasuno.
Mm,
The Sonic Channel stories by Itada Toyota. And like all the wonderful people who craft like all these stories and stuff, the ones from 2021 and 2023 come to mind very heavily. Like I consider these canon, and I would love to consider Sonic and the Blade of Courage just as canon as well. Just because I
mm,
think there's nothing stopping it aside from it not being um English translated, like officially English translated. And I kind of wish that the translation border wasn't the here all end all in terms of Sonic canon
mm,
because well, there's still a few well, TailsTube just recently caught up on having its Japanese voice actors dub over the episodes. So in case you guys don't happen to know, Tango and Whisper officially have Japanese voice actors. But now that episode 15's coming out, now that episode 15 came out, we don't really have much to go off of as like, oh, TailsTube getting all caught up and stuff. So, but yeah, that's just me being me and being hopeful. Like I would want Sonic and the Blade of Courage to be canon as well. Yeah. Man, I wish
oh.
IDW was canon. Ah, yes. Wink, wink, winkety, wink, wink, wink.
I see what you did there for.
Thank you for understanding my reference. Anyways, um, but yeah, yeah. It was long. I'm sorry, Ferns, but I hope that answered your question. And hello, Trigger. I see you down there.
Oh my gosh, but very,
Anywho,
very, very
whew, I'm
interesting.
I'm winded. Let's see here.
Put your questions here in the live stream chat so Radar can clarify anything from what Tails has like mentioned, in terms of lore and all that. So
Woohoo!
I'm trying to remember if there was like any other episode that made me like have any like specific questions. Because I'm literally like looking through it in like another tab right now just to see if like I was like I know it's like they don't release one like every month, it's kind of just like whenever. So, so I'm like I gotta look at this. I gotta like look. Wait, wait, wait. Oh, okay. I'm just looking at the Tails Tube number 5 actually with the remember when. Um okay, so I think they're like talking about Mighty, and then I think Sonic I think asked him like, so would you say he's stronger than you? And Knuckles is like, who's next on the list?
It's
Do
so yeah, yeah.
like do you think Knuckles and Mighty are equal in power? Like what's your interpretation of it, Radar?
Well, I'm not really much of a I'll be straight up honest. I'm not really much of a what's the word again? I'm not much of a power scaling sort of Sonic fan. So like when it comes to the power sets of the characters, I don't really weigh that in. So it's I just don't really know how to answer that, to be honest. It's just, oh yeah, like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles definitely seem similar to Mighty and Ray in some way, shape, or form. It's almost as if they totally didn't have a game with each other that featured all five of them.
Hmm. Yeah, like because because to me it kind of sounds like it's either Knuckles is not sure if they're like even equal in power or anything. So I guess maybe you could chalk it up to like I guess it's like they kind of just leave that to like fan interpretation of what they believe, I would say maybe.
There's quite
Um,
a lot that tends to happen that is very much fan interpretation from
mhm.
the Sonic series. That's just how it goes.
Is there like any like is there any like specific episode that you watched like previously where you're kind of like where you kind of feel that what Tails has discussed kind of feels more like up to like fans' interpretation?
Definitely the multiverse stuff for an episode 4.
Mm.
That is definitely a prime example.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah, because now that I'm like looking back at this, it's like I feel like some of these could be like fan interpretation, you know. Because just like you mentioned earlier with that scary story that Tales told in the Halloween special TailsTube, um like from what Tyson has told you, it's like, oh, we kind of just leave that to like the fans' interpretation and if they want to believe it or not, if it's like King Boom Boo's like actual origin story, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised if like but I'm very curious about like I think there was like where Tails asked Amy, oh no wait, not Tails. I think it was like a fan question ask where does like Sonic live officially? And she said, well, he doesn't really have a home. He kind of just like is do you believe that? I'm just very curious
Yeah,
from
it's true. Sonic doesn't really have a home and he just crashes at Tails' places.
okay. Because I was like, okay, I was like, I can definitely like see why. It's like you said, he just
Sonic likes to go where he wishes to go, and he doesn't have a place that, confines him to the space. Like,
hmm
yeah, he's hanging around at Tails' workshops, houses, and laboratories and all that, but like at the end of the day, he's not really living there. Like, yeah, he needs a place to sleep every now and then, but other than that, it's like, he stayed at hotels and inns and other places around the world too.
hmm Yeah, and I kind of like that like Amy like understood that part about him too, which I think is really neat. You know, because you would think like, you know, Tails would know, you know, because obviously he knows Sonic, that's his big bro, obviously. But the fact that Amy is kind of like saying, yeah, he doesn't really have a home. He kind of just like comes and goes as he pleases. You
Yeah.
know? So, and that's what we all love about Sonic. Like, you know, like he kind of just lives life to the fullest, you know? Like, he's just an adventurous person. So I mean,
He
like
he goes along with the ride.
yeah, absolutely. Um, trying to wait. I think we have one more question. Oh. Oh yeah, I totally forgot in the Tales Tube number 5, remember when they also did talk about Fang.
Yeah, in episode 5, it really was just, oh, hey, the modern characters and the classic characters, like they're not divided as most people would assume, even though that is technically because of Sega and the brand. But in
Hmm.
terms of their world building, like yeah, the characters aren't that separated. Mighty and Ray are still very much wandering about the world, even though they haven't been seen in the modern era. And Fang was a nuisance the last time they saw each other.
Hmm. Yeah, like I kind of like how they did like an episode of Remember When, where they're not like forgetting the classic characters. I think that was just like, oh, I was like, oh yeah, they definitely needed to have a an episode spotlight, because like especially to those like to the newer fans who never played like the classic games, they're like, who are these characters? Who's Mighty? Who's Ray? Who's Fang, right? So I think it was a good thing that they did an episode like that. Um, if anything. Oh my gosh, Ferns is asking another $1 million question,
Oh
Radar.
boy. What could it possibly be this time? And considering how long I took the last time to answer the a Fern's question, I would definitely see about exactly how. Oh, okay. I feel like this is definitely going to be the last question.
Yeah. Hmm.
If you could change five things in canon, what would you change? Okay. Okay.
Radar's
Num
cooking, everyone.
okay. Okay. Five things, huh? Let's see here. Five things. Five things. Okay. Number one, give a reason as to why Zavok was still working with Eggman in Team Sonic Racing. Like,
Mm.
primarily, that is one of the big things that I come to mind when it comes to contradictions in the series, because, like, Zavok hates Eggman, and I do not blame anyone for thinking otherwise. Um, Simply because, like, well, obviously, Team Sonic Racing is definitely a game that takes place after, um, Sonic Lost World, and Zavok with both hates both Sonic and Eggman. So for whatever reason, why would he be working with Eggman again? That's one of the things I would change. Is like there's no explanation given as
Hmm.
to why, whether it was another cacophonic shell or I'm speaking too fast. Whether it was another cacophonic conch or anything else otherwise, just give me an explanation, and that's it.
Hmm.
Um, let me see here. It's like I'm really trying to figure this out at the moment because there is a lot to consider, right? Um, Things to change in Canada, huh? Because it really comes. Okay, okay. Number two, fix Sonic Prime. There it is. That I said it. Cause like I do not disagree with a Sonic TV show being canon. What I do disagree is your staff ignoring the notes that were given to you by one of the Sonic lore team and just simply going along with the show as is. Even though, yes, Sonic Prime is a great show by itself, like, in terms of animation, the voice acting and all that, like, obviously the story is one thing. But like considering this is meant to be part of the canon brand, supposedly, I would rather you fix it to where it does fit, or better yet, um, actually fix the comic book, quote unquote comic book, from being a screenshot show and actually have legit artists work on it and have a writer make it so that it fits with the rest of IDW Sonic even. So like I know it'd be weird to say that a comic book adaptation is more canon than the actual original TV show, but like the comic book was a ripoff. Come on. And I'm saying this as someone who has like affiliations with the comic books. Yeesh. Um, number three, number three, number three, number three, number three, Frontiers is placement. That is
Hmm.
another big thing that has been the topic of discussion as of recently. which, Evan confirmed when exactly Frontiers is meant to take place. Um, and yeah, I'm not offended by it at all. It's just that the placement of things is rough, especially considering other stories involving the Chaos Emeralds and, just like a whole lot that's happened in between. So, like, number three is change Frontiers' placement to where it actually fits in with
Hmm.
IDW Sonic, like to where there's actual time in between for Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, and Eggman to end up on the Starfall Islands without any of the storylines overlapping each other. Because, like, all we have to go off of is that, oh, Frontiers takes place in between the Misadventures arc and the Adventure Awaits arc, which, in case some people don't know, are issues 67, 68, 900th Adventure, and the Summer and Halloween special, just before the holiday specials, essentially. Um,
Hmm.
so like that is pretty much all we have to go of as of right now. But like definitely fix that, in my opinion. And Ferns, be quiet. Um, number four. Number four is definitely number four, make Sonic and the Blade Courage Cannon. There, boom. And number five, like that was my that should have been my number one. That was the most easiest thing I could have said. Um, and number four, no, not no, number five. Number five is the most difficult one here. And number five is the most difficult one. Um, I really gotta think this one. Like, what is a contradiction that I think it does actually need addressing? The whole thing with Blaze and Sonic 06, Ian apparently knows this now. He knows the answer to this. He knows why Blaze was in Silver's future. So that just needs to be like clarified in the future. And if that does need to be addressed, then sure. But this is something that Ian now knows. He said that he wished he thought of like he wishes he said in his words that when he found out why Blaze is even part of Silver's story in the first place in '06, he wishes he thought of that. Um, or at least he had guessed that initially. And that's saying something from Ian Flynn of all people.
Hmm.
Um, shoot. And then, oh, dang it. I'm really trying to think of this here right now. It's a little bit difficult. There's a lot of good stuff, and some of it can be explained, some of it cannot. Like, ah, gosh. And then, hmm, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. Oh, yeah, it's a little difficult because I can't really think of anything else at the moment. So I think, oh, okay, never mind. Here's something. Number five, number five would be to have the IDW storylines actually breathe. Because as of recently, IDW Sonic has been going through a phase where Evan is basically doing shorter storylines to like try to make everything more episodic. Just
Mm.
like how, people prefer a more episodic Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's kind of why, a lot of this, because, we had Phantom Riders last for 7 issues,
Hmm.
which is already a pretty long storyline to begin with. And then, we had Scattered Pieces, which was the usual five from past arcs. And then the stages set started with 3 issues. And then that's what we've been getting so far as of right now, 3 issue stories. And that's not to say that the 3 issue storyline is a bad idea because Trial by Fire works pretty well under that, even though it also consists of 48 and 49. But primarily, you know, a 3 issue act works. The problem is there are certain stories that better benefit from a longer story arc. So, like, there's kind of a reason why, while I don't necessarily dislike the stages set, I will actually say that I prefer Trial by Fire over it just because the storyline with Soleil felt a little rushed, especially since there was still confrontation that needed to be taken care of with Soleil's parents and siblings. So, and then, on top of that, I also do technically feel like that the family reunion arc with Sage, I feel like there definitely should have been like an additional like instead of 3 issues, we should have gone back to the original 4, which was how things started off with IDW in the first place.
Mm,
Um, like Zeddy Hunt and Test Run and such. That's
mm,
what I f- the that's what I feel like as of right now currently. I'm sure I have a lot of other things I would want to change about the canon as of right now, and I'm fine with how things are. It's just that I just hope that there's still a little bit more quality control. I mean, the next storyline on Angel Island is only going to last 2 issues before we move on to another 3 issue story arc with Silver and Blaze. So
mhm.
I just hope that despite being shortened to just 2 issues, that Evan and Yasmin are going to knock it out of the park, considering that it's Knuckles' first time in the main book in a long time.
Mhm.
Metal Virus 2 and Give Me Pain, Give Me Suffering. Also Radar You're Spinning Facts. Thank you, Ferns. Thank you. Um, my 5 things would be make Shadow the main character, fire Sonic, only make Sonic voices canon, get rid of Fang, and hire Michael Bay for the movies. Well, that certainly is a statement. I feel like that get rid of Fang is targeted for a very specific video game reason. Um Other than that, Leah, I think my voice is about to be shot.
Mm, gotcha. Unfortunately, we will have to end this episode of Sonic Lore with Radar. I want to thank you, Radar. I know it's been like been like several months since the
I
last
haven't
episode.
rambled like this in a long time.
Because I know you've been like busy, so
My vocal muscles. Uh,
And of course, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I am going to announce the upcoming live streams. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. PT, 6 p.m. ET is a chill stream with Team Serenity. So I am joined by Andrew and Doom, and we're just gonna have a chill live stream. Just chat about anything, of course, within reason, as long as it's kid friendly.
hip hip
Um,
hooray.
and then next Tuesday, May 19th at 5 p.m. PT, 8 p.m. ET to celebrate reaching the 60th episode of God of Spotlight with LSR. I will be doing a Q&A with Giselle Fernandez, the current voice of Princess Daisy. So if you want to ask her any questions, whether regarding Princess Daisy or any of her other like iconic voice roles, you are more than welcome to come tune in and ask her your questions. And I just confirmed the next episode of the Lucky Charm podcast, which is on June 12th at 1 p.m. PT, 4 p.m. ET, where G, aka the cartoon hotspot, and we will be ranking the season 2 Akumatai's villains of Miraculous in a tier list. So we did the season 1 Akumatai's villains. Next episode will be season 2. So of course, I want to thank you all, and I will see you all tomorrow for tomorrow's live stream. And of course, have a wonderful rest of your night or day.
Cheers,
Because
everybody.
bye everyone.